Yo, what up, though, everybody? This is another episode of the Pop Culture Podcast. Look, before we get into the interview and before we get into the guest I got on for you today, please hit that like and subscribe button. That's going to be somewhere at the bottom. I need that like button, subscribe button, and leave a comment. Like I said before, we're trying to grow the page, so all love, all shares will help. So, look, I got a good one for you today, man. I got an OG, a triple OG. I think I looked at this diagram and it showed like where we line up at like Unc OG, but I think he a triple OG. The homeboy Kevin Dixie, I got him on the Pop Culture 2 to 3 podcast. He go up by KD. Like I said, I met him at Shot Show a couple years ago, man. And my name Kevin, his name Kevin. So it's been love ever since. I know he kind of hate on me because I'm light skinned, he dark skinned. I probably took all the chicks back in school because I was a light skinned Kevin. But we ain't gonna get into all that. But hey, it's a genuine dude, man. Like I said, it's been love since the beginning, man. He like I said, he came on my website, bought some shirts back in the day, some heavy metal lifestyle shirts, and hey, man. So look, I got him on here today, man, to kick it with you, kick it with my audience. I want him to introduce himself so people that don't know my 300 subscribers. Hopefully, this podcast will go viral now. So I just got Big Dog on there. So KD, I'm gonna give it to you, brother.
Oh man, what's going on? Yeah, that the light skin thing kind of leaves a scar, man. You know, went to the '90s, like late '90s, dark skin brother started coming in. But yeah, my name's Kevin Dixie. I'm the owner and founder of No Other Choice Firearms Training. I have been in firearms training or self defense training and a civil rights advocate and a community outreach guy for the last 25 years. I was a jailer with the St. Louis City Police Department in our prisoner processing division. Did that for 10 years. Outside of that, I did executive protection, bodyguarding services, all kind of firearms training. Just kind of fell in love with the art of self-defense and human psychology, from the criminal aspect to how to make people from our neighborhoods better. So I kind of took the two, if you will, and wanted to advocate and give education, information, and insight to my community to keep them away from places that I worked, while at the same time making sure that we also had people that were armed, equipped to deal with the real evil people that are walking the earth, and then at the same time reach back out to our communities and people that really need some help, give them some advice and help their families out and things like that. So that's kind of what I do, and I'm a civil rights advocate, so I will travel the country whenever called upon, or use my platforms and get out there and speak some uncomfortable truths at certain times. So it's yeah, that's who I am, man. I'm just another guy. I'm just a guy with a voice. That's it.
Hey, let me ask you a question. This like don't hurt me, bro. Like I watched the video with you and Colin Noir, and I thought it was
Mhm.
very impactful. And one thing that I was like, man, Katie, my hero, because I didn't know. I mean, I heard. I didn't know about your past. I mean, I listened to other videos you said and you talk about it, but this one I actually listened to because it's like two of y'all, two giants in my, in my how I look at it, and I was like, man, this is gonna be so impactful. So when you was talking about your trauma and the stuff you went through at a young age, I was just like, God, dog, you know what I'm saying? So we gonna get into some of that, but um, like you been on like what magazine was that on? Cause I missed out. I wasn't able to get a copy because you've been on magazines. You've been doing like don't underplay that. Like you was on what magazine was that? That's like the front page of that
I mean,
magazine.
2A magazines, pretty much all of them. There's one on my hit list, but I think we're gonna get that one knocked out in the next 6, 7 months here. But tons of 2A magazines, podcasts. I think the biggest global name that people will recognize, like no matter if you're into guns or not, will be Time Magazine.
That's what it was.
So
Time
again,
magazine. And that
yeah,
was that something. It was like connection with you and Maj Toure with that, or what was it? Cause I
yeah,
can't.
that was Times. The art you can still look it up. Is if you Google Time Magazine Guns in America, that was meant to open up the conversation from people from all walks of life about how they feel about firearms in their culture. So you name the lifestyle, it was on the cover. It was, I think, 200, and don't quote me on this. I want to say it was about a couple hundred of us on the cover. It's been a while since I looked up the number, but everybody had some. It's a pretty interactive, cool thing. If you go to the website, you can actually take your mouse and scroll over everybody on the cover, and they start moving, and you get to hear like an excerpt of what they said. So Maj is one of the gentlemen that was on the cover of it with me. But one thing I will take from that magazine that I thought was really cool. 'Cause I ain't gonna lie, that was one of them I'm calling my mama moments, right? Because mama grew up. magazine. I call my mama quick. When the
Mama
magazine,
coming up in the world.
hey man, hey, when the magazine came out, because I didn't know this, but when they take three questions to the table, because they want it to be as non-biased as possible, right? So they take three questions to the table because they knew they were going to have audio with this magazine. So they take three questions to the table. It's like you got 3 minutes. Where the audio engineer is in the room just to make sure the audio is clear. Nobody is asking you questions. You're just supposed to answer them. So I looked at it. I was like, 3 minutes. Nah, we finna get a hood a voice right now. Not no 3 minutes. So I talked for 26 minutes and shared my opinion and my voice about, you know, my viewpoint and a shared viewpoint I believe a lot of people have. But once again, their voices don't get to be heard. So the audio engineer actually cried tears, right? He was like, I've never looked at the world through that lens before. He cried tears. And so they started showing it to all the producers involved in the magazine. So they took me out of the couple of hundred people and they placed me smack dab in the middle on purpose. And that's because they wanted people to hear that story because it was so impactful. So made it on the cover of Time with some other people with some opinions and voices and things like that. Many of them I respect, some of them I disagree with. That means I disrespect them as human beings. But they took my voice and put me flat dab in the middle because they wanted America to hear that, and then that went around the world. So to know that your face is on the side of buildings and murals and even submitted to a museum, and your voice was highlighted is pretty cool. So that wasn't even for me to get on the internet and brag. That was a mama, yo, your son made it on the cover of Time, for a good reason. So that was pretty cool.
I know that you had in the interview with Colin Noir, you said something about being a hood preacher. Has anybody ever asked you, "Hey man, you preaching too much, brother"? Because every time you talk, sound like you about to preach. Does anybody say, "Hey, Katie, you preaching too much, bro"?
Man, all the time. All the time, man. But I learned to start talking and expressing myself before I can stop hitting people. And I'm not even saying that to be funny. I realize that one thing as a man is that we're gonna let things out a couple of ways because it's gonna come out eventually. It's gonna be tears or terror, how you want it, right? So either I can express myself, being the tears, whether it's actual tears or just express myself, or I can, bottle it up, and then somebody gonna catch that frustration and that rage. So that's how I know I talk a lot, but I started that because I only knew violence. So to talk and talk it out is actually a way that I started trying to get my point across. And then when it came to preaching on the corner, it was like, man, you can't tell none of the hard headed person one time. Sometimes you got to stay on a top. You get on the corner like, bro, I don't know if it's really a good idea for you to come out here at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, trying to make a flip, don't think of nobody watching. And you're going to have to say that 35 mornings in a row before it start hitting them. So yeah, I get it all the time. But, my biological, even though I don't rock with him like that, I know him very well, he is a preacher. So it's kind of in my blood, if you
Yeah, like I said, growing up in the church is in my blood. Like, from where I came from, we was at church Monday, Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, whatever the pastor said something, my grandma was there, mom was there, aunties in the choir place, so I get that. And another thing that was shocking to me is how openly you are about your experience growing up, your traumatic experience. Like that's like like that part. Like in to me, black men we don't really share that a lot, especially in forums where we got to be Mr. Tough Guy or like in the 2A space or the gun space. Like to share that point, I was like, dude, this I'm gonna say it. I said it before, like, dude, this is my hero because we don't as black men we don't dive deep into that emotional point because we always got to be, strong, hard up, you know what I'm saying, 10 toes down type of dude. And, it was one thing my mama called was, and this is just off on something else. Mama called me one time. She's like, well, how the kids and how this stuff, we got some stuff going on at the house. I said, Mama, why you don't ask how I'm doing? Then all of a sudden now she called me every day. How you doing, Negro? You know what I'm saying? So, how you doing, Negro? I said, Mama, I'm fine. I'm fine, Mama. But like I said, kudos to you for that, man, for this sharing those experiences because I think that's another way that you can. That's to me, that's another way that you connect with the young players, the young kids in the communities because you didn't like a lot of people because I come up in the urban areas, right? Grew up in the hood, coached football in the hood, and I told the story before. Like we used to have to go get kids out of the crack houses with because they in there working. But like, nah, bro, they got football practice. You know what I'm saying? So we had to, every other day we up there, going to the house, going down the block, and you got, houses get ready. You got police officers, grabbing these kids out, and I'm like, hey man, that's me. He with me. Oh, where you gotta go? You gotta go to football practice. So just to you from that, and they can relate to you, so when they see you, they know it's not like you fronting. You know what I'm saying? Like they feel the emotion in that conversation, because you didn't done it, you didn't been through it, so you can express and hear what they're saying on that top, on all topics. So what I'm saying, I think that's definitely a way that I can hear it in your voice when and with the kids, and that's probably another reason why you connect so well with them. And that's just my opinion.
No, man, I appreciate that. And I appreciate the what you've done. That's no small feat either. And I think it takes a village. You know what I mean? So everybody's contribution is equally as important. And when it comes to the young boys, this is something I always wanted people to realize. And I'll tie this back in when you mentioned like the Second Amendment community. You get so tied up in making sure that like your bravado is recognized when it comes to handling guns, and that you look cool and you got all the gizmos. Like behind me is a rifle that is valued at, by the time I get through with it, maybe 25, 2,700 bucks. But I got, another one I can reach off the screen right now and pick up. It got like 7,000 values in it. I got night vision. I do all the training. I've been there, done that. I've been in the real world situations. None of that means anything. So we get so focused on looking tough and looking cool, we forget that, well, when you talk to people in this space, it's supposed to be about saving people, even if it's just themselves. And it's also about saving the innocents, right? Protecting the weak, being the sheepdog and all that. But then you forget, well, most of the lives we save have nothing to do with a gun. Most of the time we're going to save somebody is going to be with your voice, with your effort, with your advice, with medical assistance. It's going to be something like that. So I always found it interesting that guys wanted to be tough when it came to this stuff, and realizing that real tough men ain't never got nothing to prove. You can be like, I don't know why you looking so tough and why you always got to look or try to feel like you need to be welcomed by being a tough guy. I'll let you have the tough guy stuff. I'm gonna go back over here and see what I can do for little Antonio. See what his mama need, and I still show up the next day and beat you on every build drill, every fast drill, every draw stroke technique, what you want to talk about, the parts, how they go together. What school of thought you should come from, the way you attack close quarter. What do you want to have a discussion about, or what do you want to get on the range and do? Because I can do that too. So it's not like you have to do one or the other. But I always find it funny. And then the other thing too, with black men in particular in this space, this is one reason why people will say things like, man, you seem a little distant, and you don't seem as cool, or you don't seem as down. Like, yeah, because a lot of black men in this space don't understand you got to leave the hood where the hood is at. Because if you keep bringing that over here, you're going to get hurt. So, and then if we do that, black man hasn't learned emotional intelligence yet. He's got a gun, might have all the skill in the world, but he hasn't learned emotional intelligence. He hasn't learned how to properly de-escalate things. He hasn't learned how to be accepted as a man to himself, right? And so when you get in this space and we all carrying guns, when you look at the big picture, there are certain people that's waiting on us to do the wrong thing. They waiting on us to have a conflict, just waiting on it. So you have to bring all these other soft skills in. That way we can be in a space to say, dang, they actually are changing the narrative about how you handle conflict. They're changing the narrative about how you carry yourself. There you go. You got rooms full of black people, ain't nobody talking about hurting each other. There have been a couple of times with brothers in this game that I've had to, have some conversations with. Both times I've done it, not that they threatened me. They didn't. I want to be clear about that. But it was just they bring up violence. Like, man, I mean, if it got to go to this, man, I mean, it can. I'm like, I'm really done talking to you. Now I don't have no respect for you. Now I don't respect you because we are supposed to be changing the narrative about what this looks like for people, because there are 17, 16, 19-year olds that are going to be coming up in this, and we need to be able to show. I don't care how they look, how they dress, and all that. That's a personal thing. I'm talking about the way you conduct yourself as a man, right? Like, oh, conflict, we handle conflict like this. Don't matter if you got a fade, dreads, bald head, don't matter. Oh, we handle conflict like this. Don't matter if you're from the burbs or the hood. Oh, no, brother, all right, well, I'm going to let you live on that. Okay, cool. I'm going to move over. But everybody's so busy trying to be tough that even when in this space, when you try to see if brothers can align, They want to bring up silly stuff like violence, which is why a lot of people, man, that's just got that level of emotional intelligence, stay away from the foolishness. So we got to be able to let that go. And the one way of letting it go and doing better is seeing what your focus is. My focus is helping people, right? And I had to realize a long time ago, like I said in the interview that you're referencing, brother, I was engineered to kill black men, right? It's like engineered to do it, socially engineered to do it, and very capable of it. I have a very, very good skill set at being violent. But you know what I'm most proud of? I got a good skill set at reaching back, helping people, admitting when I'm wrong, learning the fact that I don't have to use violence to solve things. I also got chin check because now as a grown man, I understand that I can get my button pushed too. My switch can be cut off pretty easy, right? You know what I mean? Like it ain't like you 16, 17 feel like you're invincible anymore. No, you realize that anybody can get touched, right? And then you know what, man, I'm a father. I love to see the fact that my boy is, just went to the armed services. That's what he wanted to do. He's been talking about that for years. He got to do it. My son is in 3 weeks is going to be stationed in Hawaii, living his life. I was able to see him not have to grow up in the hood and do that. I got a daughter that's a elevated student in school. She's just turning 13, walking in high school, and we'll be graduating um, middle school with honors, going into high school, already walking in high school as a freshman, taking college courses. She's in the eighth grade now, taking college courses. Like these are the things I'm proud of. So I ain't got time to be in the streets with no fools playing some games. I got 13, 14 kids through the Kids to King program. We're helping get them acclimated and built up and helping them with their family units and things like that. We've done all kind of help for dozens of families too, aiming for the truth. I built the Greenwood project down the street to support these families. So until I say all that to say, for the black men that want to bring the hood mentality into the Second Amendment, all you're going to do is feed the beast that's waiting on you to confirm the negative stereotypes. That's all you're going to do. So for when people say, "Oh, y'all ain't down" or "y'all ain't real" or whatever, it's like, no, bro, I don't think you understand. Intelligence has taught me that I just need to let you live and let you be, because you trying to put a situation in the play with multiple people where it's a lose lose. You lose the conflict, then you lost. You win the conflict, you lost for the culture. You know what
True,
I'm saying?
true.
So we have to learn how to control ourselves a lot better. And until we do, it's gonna be a hard hill to climb. But we got some brothers out there doing some good stuff. Yourself, I mean Atlas. I can go down the line and name brothers that are definitely putting out good content, very informative individuals that are professional shooters. We got people that are doing different things in different genres. We just need to continuously, as a collective, man, stop climbing out these mud holes. And so that's why people get so offended by me. Is because I'll say what everybody else say in the closet. I'll just say it to your face. And it
Hey,
is what
I love the realness, and you answered. I mean, you kind of went into some of the questions I had because I got some questions here, man. I want to ask.
okay,
So,
my bad. I'm
like,
sorry. I get off on
no, no,
rants.
I know. I don't know how I'm gonna slow KD down because you get to preaching. I wish I had the amen or ding, 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 little clock up there in 60 seconds or less, KD. That's it. But
All right, my
hey,
bad.
so listen, you mentioned that before someone can pick up a gun, they need to pick up value. How did
Yeah.
you actually teach that to the kids whoever if the kids who never been shown that matters, like because you said that in the Colin Noir interview, like the value they need to pick up value first.
Yeah. So we're working with kids. I see myself, right? And when you substitute this gun, right? When you put the gun in the hands of a child, and that child doesn't see other value, or they don't see the power that they truly will with their mind, with their spirit, with their energy, then they use the gun as a supplement, right? So here's an example. Nobody ever taught me how to dress for a job interview, and I'm just this kid from around the way, but I really want to go work for my money. And so I walk in, but my vernacular is wrong. I don't have an application filled out properly. I don't know what a resume is. Don't even ask me that. Um, I didn't understand to come in the daytime. I got a lot of skills that are off, and so I can't get a job. So I can't show up and work honestly for the things that I want. I don't think that you're valuing my voice, because everybody wants to be valued. Everybody, if I say something to you, I want you to listen to me, right? And when they don't have that, they don't see that, then I get a gun and it's like, oh, hold on. But I was gonna go work for a car, but I can point this gun at you, I can get the car, I can get everything material I want from you, but at the same time, I'm getting something from you that I really truly want. More than your car, more than your wallet. I'm getting respect from you. It's
Respect.
coming in the
Yep.
form of fear, right? And so that's the first thing I want the kids to understand is let me show you how to value you. And let me show you that it doesn't matter if I don't value you. You have to value you. So how do we invest in that equity? And that's going to be dependent from, person to person. But how do we invest in that equity? So realistically, a lot of the coaching comes from getting to know the kid or sometimes the adult, getting to know them and then custom building a plan to them where they can wake up in the morning, look in the mirror, and be like, I'm valuable. I matter. I'm important. If you don't see it, it don't matter because I see it. And we start there. That way, when they pick up the gun, they're just protecting the value they see. That's
Well, and like I said, I was watching the. Well, I watched some of the clips. Well, on Instagram and the MRAM, but like and I told somebody, I said, man, KD got some power, bro. Like the people love what he's doing because you was able to give a young brother a Ruger, right? He was able to pick a Ruger off the wall, and that was for his birthday. So I know when he was thinking, like, man, this dude got love for me on all types of levels. Like you took him from the range, you open their minds to a whole nother aspect of what life is or what we know it to be. Because when we coming up in the hood, it's always a negative stigma around firearms, right? So
mm-hmm.
you took that brother, them young brothers from that program, you took him into the MRAM and showed him and handing him a gun or got him a firearm for his birthday. I was just like, "Damn,
Yeah,
that's a major move." Like I don't know how people looked at that and then like, "Oh, that's just something KD do." I was like, "Nah, man, that's a major move there, bro. To get a young brother a firearm and he actually know what it is and know how to use it. It was funny watching the kid talking about, yeah, this is this and this is that and this is this. I'm just like, man, they starting these young brothers off young. That's what I'm talking about.
yeah.
That's what
I
I'm
mean,
talking about.
yeah, they did. And just because I don't want to be remiss, I want to give a big shout out to Walk to Talk America and Kids to Kings. That's a group effort. And big shouts out to Ruger too. The team over there at Ruger uh, really understands, right? They understand and they step behind us. So we were not able to have the experience that you saw that you're referencing, and I'm happy. And that's one thing I wish people would understand about me. But I'm not going to try to prove it to nobody. Like brother, I'm a servant. At the end of the day, I'm a servant. I just want to serve and be kind. And you might not like the way that I walk into the room, but I'm gonna walk in the room and make sure people get what they're supposed to get, right? So that's all I wanted to do is be a servant. So if I could, have that moment stamped for that young boy, and just be a part of that, because like I say, it's a team collective, and just be a part of that, man. That's monumental. He'll never forget that. He'll never forget. It was my birthday, and somebody, gifted me a rifle, and not just a rifle. I mean, he got that Ruger 1022 with a carbon fiber barrel, all the nooks and crannies and optics and bipods, like it's hooked up. So
What's the Christmas story? He got the he got the BB
hey,
gun for
yo,
Christmas and he's out there putting in work and almost shot his eye out. So
yeah, that was crazy. But we
hey,
love the kids, man. We love the kids, and we try to do right by them. And I mean, them boys got at NRAM, man. They got a 101 firearms lesson from JJ Rakaza. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
seen that. I seen. Little dog was like, Jada was teaching him everything. I seen that. I was like, hey, that was probably like $1,000 worth of game right there. You got, young
bro,
brother. You better
hey,
take it and run with it. So
hey,
is that because I know you was in St. Louis, and you did train and learn there. So did you always have the idea of the Greenwood project prior to coming to Atlanta, or once you got to Atlanta, then it kind of like it kind of developed?
I always wanted to do it. It was just how to do it, right? And it was how do you structure? And Greenwood is my passion project. I think we all have one in life. That's my passion project. And it's like, well, how do you make it happen? How do you do this? And when I relocated from St. Louis, born and raised there all my life, and we came to Atlanta, and I'm like, okay, moved during COVID. So realistically, even though I've been here about close to 5 years, I feel like it's more like three because for two you didn't move, you ain't going nowhere, right? Um, and I wanted to do something impactful and special. So I had an opportunity through some support. I had an opportunity to go out, and I had been working my butt off too. So I had a little bit of coin put up and said, okay, let's I could do one or two things right now. I can go comp that new whip, maybe put some on the pinky finger, and throw a couple of guns in the crib, and buy the wife a new car. I could do that, or we could go do something for the community and give them a place to call home and honor our ancestors and the sacrifice that they made. So that's why we named it Greenwood after the 1921 Tulsa, Oklahoma bombing. And what I wanted to do is have a place where we can teach people reading, writing, financial literacy. We can do archery, we can do gardens, we could do de-escalation classes. We can. I mean, hell, we can do anything we want. Tutoring for after-school programs. We can do anything that we want or that we need to do. And then we can also shoot as a way to protect all this value and equity that we're putting into each other. I was like, well, how do we do that? Because I'm not good at all that stuff I just named by far. I said, but what if I facilitated the land? And what if I opened it up to other people that wanted to do right by people and gave them a space to do it? What if we did that? And so I started looking around around Georgia, and I found the spot about 45 minutes south of the city, and said that's what we're gonna do. So instead of buying things for myself, making myself look good, I bought that, and I bought it for the community, and that's what it is. So we've been out there, we've been developing it for right close to 2 years now, but it's already serviced about 600 community members in various capacities. As we are still trying to get it stood up, we've had about 600 to 700 people out there, and that's not including train learn. And yeah, that's what we're trying to do, man. Like I said, I try to be a servant. I try to make an impact on people's lives. So, um,
Hey,
you know,
let me say this. I told Mr. Double Tap this. I said, boy, KD stay clean, man. He st- he stays smooth as a snail in the rain. I seen him at Enron. He had the pinstripe butter, sky blue
no, you
butter
know,
pinstripe suit on. I was like, man, Easter is over with, or it ain't came up with. What is he doing? And he said, man, that's that St. Louis, and he ain't going nowhere, bro. That's that clean St. Louis city. I said, man, that dude stay clean, bro. But um, to have some property, man, like that, like I see, Hood Net got property. Big
hmm
Mike has some property down there, and then y'all have property. Like that was very like impactful to have your own. You can do what you want when you want, how you want to do it, and then to bring different events out there to do it on your property. That was like I was just like, man, this is about to. 'Cause how many acres you got out there?
40 acres.
And how much is already like paved out, or you still got to do some more work out there?
Brother, when I say is think about a baby, it's an infant. It's still we still at the hospital. We ain't even left home with mama yet. But we probably went in. If you're thinking about like starting the road and actually going into the property, we might be in 7 8 yards. I mean 7 8 acres maybe. So most of
Oh,
it is untapped, unexplored, untouched. Majority of it. But right now, even for when it comes, because I know a lot of people listening to this are, probably outdoorsmen to a degree, whether they go shoot for fun or anything like that. So now it's not a shooting range, but obviously we do shooting. It's a community project, right? It's like a community center meets a gun range, if you will. But the because I am a shooter and I wanted to have a right place to train, and I consider myself a pretty damn good instructor. So I want to build something for what I knew. Well, coach, but don't get me started on that. However, I wanted to build something I knew that would be useful to a lot of individuals. So, I mean, our first shooting bay is 100 by 100. It's a football field,
ooh.
and our second one is about. I think that was it's right around 47 in width and right at 90 in length, and that's our small boy for right now.
So
Yeah.
so you got that. So what like inspired you to even start like training learn? Because I know training and one thing I loved about training learn, and I know it's y'all been doing it prior to that, and I should have been at the first one. And I know I'm not alumni, and I've been missing out on it. But what
Mhm.
inspired you to even start training learn? Because I had told the EDC guy Ron, I said, man, I would love to have somebody put on an event, and this was prior to Train and Learn, because people go to SHOT Show and it's not real intimate. It's not real like for us, let's say, so to speak, or whatever. But when I seen Train and Learn, I'm just like, man, Train and Learn is it. That's where we can, get more intimate. They can learn stuff. They can talk to brands. They can learn the ins and outs, and people is like they're more free there, opposed to going to SHOT Show and everybody walking around faking or whatever they doing. And so what inspired you? Like, look, I'm gonna create this thing called Train and Learn.
So train and learn came because I was extremely lucky when it comes to this space, right? When I decided, I've been doing this for a quarter of a century, but when I decided to start talking, like getting on the camera and sharing my opinions publicly with the world, if you will, um, I did that. I put a camera up in a tree in Utah. I was out of Utah doing a force on force class for television, right? Because I had started peeking my head out there a little bit, and as soon as I did, people heard my voice. Say like, yeah, and so immediately, like I was on TV shows, like immediately. And when I did a video uh, off of that tree in Utah, and I just was talking to the camera, it caught. That was like my first viral video, and it caught the attention of the right people, and it just put me immediately in the right rooms, like perfect timing. When not that I'm super special, I just had perfect timing, and I started to realize like, man, you blink and I'm on this network, this network. I was about to have a show on another popular network. I was blessed to be all over the place, right? And I'm already, I'm 400 and I think it was 483 followers if I remember correctly on Instagram, but I had three sponsors, right? Like, so I'm like, this is great. And I'm like, well, maybe it's because I'm actually a trainer too. I'm actually a real coach, and people enjoy that. But I'm like, no, nobody was really caring about the firearms training side of things. They were more interested in the conversations. And so it just got me everywhere so fast. And what I realized is the more I hung around, people were like, well, how do I do that? Well, how do I do what you did? I'm like, to a degree, I can give you some game, and other stuff is just about place and time, man. You just got to be at the right place at the right time, and you got to have the drive. And I kept talking to people individually, and then they kept wasting my time. So I'm like, I'm tired, man. I only got so much, and I only know so much. So a lot of times I have to give you what I know, but I got to call six other people to get what they know and then give it to you. And then I saw people just wasting it, like not doing anything with it on one side. On the flip side, I saw individuals that were doing the right thing, that were actually trying to be successful, and I would enjoy their content. And then you look up in 6 months or a year, they gone. Well, the reason they were gone is they couldn't sustain. They're like, this is taken away from my family. This is, it's costing me money to do it. I got to go put in some extra hours at work. I got a daughter going to college, whatever the thing is. And so they would leave. And so I came to the understanding one day of, man, what if there was a place where it wasn't cost prohibitive, if you were truly trying, whether you were instructor, podcaster, blogger, writer, a small manufacturer, because everybody was doing different stuff. Like, so what if there was we can put together something where instead of me trying to just talk to each individual and then having to call my friends to get the other information to come back and talk to you about it, what if we put everybody in one spot? What if we just did that? What if we put everybody in one spot and you got a chance to learn from the people that I learned from? What if we did that? And I looked around the industry and nobody was doing it. The closest thing to it was Shot University. And that wasn't really it. It wasn't really what I was looking for. And I'm like, no, this thing does not exist. It doesn't exist. So I did it. I said, what we're going to do is, people might say, man, you've been here, you a big dog, this and that. No, man, I'm just like you. I breathe the same air. And I want to see everybody win. And so what if I can turn and save 20, 25% of people that would normally, phase out, but we can actually help make them successful. So I was like, all right, how about we get together? We train, because we all like training, but then we also learn. And I was supposed to change the name of Train and Learn to something else. I was just literally talking about, what if we train and learn, right? And then somebody was like, why are you changing the name? Like, I guess not. All right, cool. We'll just roll with that. So I put out for $125 the first event in Missouri. I was like, come out here for 3 days, and I did everything by myself. I think we had, man, I think that first one we probably had 75 people show up, and luckily I know some good folks, and I barely knew they jumped in and started helping. But we had like Corinne Mosier was one of our teachers at the first one. I can't remember everybody, but we had some pretty rock stars people come out there, give some instruction, and provide information to people. And they were doing it from the kindness of their heart. Like we had BSO Gun Channel come out. We had TJ from Tactical Sugar Honey Iced Tea. I don't want to curse on the platform. Had him out there. I'm going to start forgetting people. Ken Scott was at the first one. Uh, we had some heavy hitters. I mean, the first one, people didn't realize I had 5 millionaires sitting in the room,
Mm.
right? Like, it was people really sitting there wanting to see what they can do to help and invest in other people. So we've, from that, we've expanded it. And the second thing I said I'm going to do is, all right, we're going to have to go up on the price, but we're still going to do it at a cost that shows if you want this, you can do it. So Train and Learn was born. We priced the tickets accordingly, and I think the tickets are extremely fair. And we got together and we started changing lives.
Well, and like it's every ever since Train and Learn, I didn't see other ones, and I was like, man, I ain't never been to Train and Learn, but all the homies went, and I was like, everything I see after Train and Learn since then, I was like, oh, that's just trying to be like Train and Learn, up, that's just like Train and Learn, whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It never, it. I guess you sparked a lot of creativity, but
yeah. I
how is
mean,
like Train? Go
we
ahead.
got a lot of puppies out there. It's okay.
But how is Train and Learn different from like any other? How is it
Because
different than any other influencer gathering or event? Let's if I can say influencer gathering event.
Train and Learn is done from the heart. That's it. It's a heart. It is a desire. It is a passion. And Train and Learn is for the people that show up. That's what makes it different. It is a certain energy, a certain footprint that we are trying to do. For example, because he talks about it publicly, so I will. One of the first success stories we have from Train and Learn was Chris Sliles with South Carolina Gun School, and Chris had bought his ticket to Train and Learn, and between buying his ticket and showing up, he had decided to close down his gun business. Right, so he's a trainer at a beautiful facility, a beautiful classroom, but couldn't put it together. So he decided, you know what, it's enough stuff going on. It's too tough. I'm shutting the doors. But he had already bought his ticket to Train and Learn. So Train and Learn was going to be his last gun event. That was 6 years ago. His business is still running and thriving, right? So these are the kind of things we do, and we show up for each other, right? We are an alumni group that's showing up for each other. So this ain't a money grab. This ain't something to try to make you look like a celebrity. This is literally from the heart for the industry and the ones in it that want to figure out how to get ahead, how to make this sustainable, how to reach more people, how to be a professional businessman or woman. It's done from there that you have people that show up that want to do it for you. We are not someplace that's going around like we just want to sell tickets for we can profit money. Let me tell you like this. Train and Learn is 3 days. Day one, if anybody's ever been in any professional development course of any kind, day one, you're getting 5 and/or 6 professional development sessions taught by people that are experts at what they do. Okay. You're getting those sessions. Day two, you're getting 4 self-defense sessions, right? Rifle, pistol, and then always 2 soft skills. So, like this year, we have medical mixed with force on force, and then we have combatives around the vehicle, right? Get in and out of a car empty handed. What if you don't have your gun? So, we have different things that we always put in, and then we have different philosophies of rifle and pistol. We always have different people teaching it. So, we have those professional instructors out there giving you that. We give you 9 classes. This year, we've added 3 additional ones that are optional. You can choose to go to them or not because they're kind of specialized toward people. So those are 3 optional ones. You have 3 meals that are fed to you. You get all the ammo required for the training is provided to you to support your small business or your medium business or your large. But we have people with millions of followers that show up to train and learn too. Those individuals that participate in train and learn are it's they have a chance to win up to $10,000 worth of what we call creative ways because we expect you to create content around it. But it's also an asset for your small business you don't have to buy, right? Um, and you get all of that plus a bourbon and cigar pairing class for fun, a night vision shooting experience, networking parties. We do two of those while we're there. You get all of that for $400. If that's because we're doing it from the heart, basically you just helping us cover costs. Everything is done from the heart. So that's what makes it different. Now, look, I can't patent it. It's not like a rare breed trigger, right? I can't patent it. So I'm not mad at I joke and I poke fun, but I'm not mad at people trying to mimic it. But the reason why they it isn't successful is because they're doing it for the money and not the heart. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like
it, it, yeah, it's your passion. I often say my passion pockets are deeper than my profit pockets because you do with passion. So look, how do you so many people be chasing clout? How do you make sure that Train and Learn stays purpose driven and not just another hype fest?
I got a good team, brother. Got a good team.
Teamwork
So
makes the dream work.
yeah, big shouts out to Jared Hutchins clearing the chamber, um, Alicia Garcia, Boomstick Babe, Devin Perkins, Trenchwork Chronicles. Even coming back this year as our videographer, we got visual by Jay Jelani. We've added my right hand man, Brandon Davis, BD of NOC, and his wonderful wife, Caitlin. They constantly show up. Our newest team member is a Train and Learn alumni, also a new instructor with me along with Brandon. That is Danny of Defensive Unicorns. So it's my team that helps keep me grounded, man. People think that I'm tough, man. I get cursed out all the time. My team keeps me grounded. If they think I'm going a little bit too far, they're like, bring that back over here. So it's the team, man. It's the team, and then I think I stay grounded because I want to see people win. So the core of what we're trying to do remains the same, and all these people believe in it. And then the people that show up to instruct or the ones that are giving the sessions have the same spirit. We find like-minded people because these individuals could charge a lot of money to come do this, and they don't. That's why we can keep the ticket prices so low. And then we have to give thanks to all our sponsors because our sponsors they come in and they help make sure that the event can be maintained financially so the people can afford to come. So it's just starting off with a great team, keeping our core values the same, and being surrounded by like-minded people. And then everybody else that registers and shows up, we try to take that spirit and impart it on them. So it's not like I want you to be at Train and Learn, and you can see two, three, four juggernauts sitting over there in the corner, but they look at you and wave you over instead of saying get away. You know what I mean? Like we are welcoming. It don't matter who you see sitting there. People were real shocked. My man, big shouts out to my man, Guns and Gadgets. He was he came to the first Train and Learn last year. He'll be back this year. And he was sitting there, and there were a couple of people that was like, "Is he really here?" I was like, "Man, that is a human being. Go talk to that brother. He'll talk to you." And next thing you know, like some of these guys are sitting here with this man with a million followers across all the platforms, and he lighting up a cigar, talking to him, giving them game and information, and just getting to know him. Like so, we try to bring people with that kind of spirit into it. So it's like, oh, damn, people are really here for me and people really want to see me win. Now you got to do the damn work, and I'll hold you accountable for that. Because you can come and just say you had a good experience and you got this network, and then you fall flat on your face because you don't put the effort behind it. But that's a risk with anything. But man, that's how we try to do it, and we keep it about the people.
So if somebody came there and came to Train and Learn, what do you think one of the biggest thing that they'll leave there with knowing after they leave Train and Learn?
They'll have a recipe for success. It's up to you how you put that gumbo together, though.
Like,
You,
up to you how to
hey,
put that gumball together.
hey, babe, you gotta know how to. We gonna give you all the tools, but I'm not swinging a hammer for you. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because remember, everybody there also has their own businesses to run, and we're all learning. You don't think when I be having some of them speakers, I'm gonna be sitting in the back like, ooh, didn't think about that, right? I'm trying to learn too, and so is everybody else that's there. Even the other speakers are all trying to learn. The sponsors are trying to learn. You know, we have marketing workshops being put on. Like, it's a lot of great stuff that you don't get a chance to ask. So the one thing that we impart to people with train to learn is like, hey, man, I want to give you everything, bro. Like, think about it this way: everybody that I call is clearly in my Rolodex, right? And I'm giving you my Rolodex. I shouldn't have to do the work for you too, right? So when people were like, you know, what do I do with it? I'm like, you got the ingredients. Now you just got to make the gumbo. So if you need an accountability partner, there are plenty of people willing to do that, right? We are willing to do the extra, but really, man, you get out of it what you want, up to date, and I keep people's financial records, you know, quiet and confidential. But I can tell you, as a statement of fact, that as of this coming train and learn, before we go through this train and learn, private businesses have made up close to about $4 million of profit they didn't see before.
And you talking about the companies that been at Train and Learn, that
I'm
came
talking
from
about the
Train and Learn.
individual companies that came to train and learn something have generated about $4 million for themselves.
That's that's some data there for you. Drop
Yeah,
boom. I
so
wish I
it's
had that
I
little
mean, one shop
boom.
in particular. I'm sorry to cut you off. One shop in particular came in first year, um, second year after they attended, picked up some things, imparted those things. They took their sales from right at about $40,000, and they gave Train and Learn credit for this. They took them from $40,000, came to the last Train and Learn, and then took that 40 and turned it into 275, and then took that 275 and turned it into five and some change. So
The work speaks for itself, right? They
that's
they
what we
can
want, though.
Yeah, that's definitely. But this is kind of like a little off center. But what do you credit to, like? Because over the over the years, and I know I've known you, you've been following you for a while, but you have some heavy hitter like brands. Like what keeps them, like, like, what's the key? Now I guess you don't give the game out from, hey, show up to training learn, you'll find out. But like, what? Because you didn't, like I said, you done had some heavy hitters,
Mhm.
brands that deal with, and it's like, what is it about that they just like, man, we want to work with KD, and he a good people or whatever, like, just, I don't know, like, because I look, you got Ruger's, you had this, you got that companies, and in the past you had, doing stuff with this group, that group, but they just keep coming out. Like, what do you credit that to?
God,
Amen.
yeah, just doing the work, being a good servant, man, and being smart when you get an opportunity, and treating everybody kind, and being authentic, right? So when I'm sitting in front of somebody, I'm not the guy that sits in front of a company and says, I'm going to sell 1 million of your gizmos and gadgets. I'll tell a brand real quick, I want to see if we even align morally first. Like, are we even on the same path and wavelength? Let's get to know each other, right? I got friends with brands that I've been friends with for 6, 7 years, and I've never done business with them. But then when the opportunities do come, it's just like I said, everything I said before, man. It's just being a good servant and listening, and also honoring what the brands need. And I think people forget that. Like, they have needs too. What are their needs? And sometimes it's not simple as sales, right? Sometimes it's advice, it's guidance, it's other things that they could use as well that they normally go out and pay consultant fees for, right? So how can you be a benefit to them? Stop worrying about just getting a garage full of free stuff. Like, how can you truly be a benefit to those brands? And I think just keeping it honest like that. And then I generally like people, right? So people will be talking to me, and they'll be like, "Oh, I work over here, and I do this." And so what? Now, anyway, let's keep talking about this '87 Buick Regal I'm trying to get. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even go into all of that. Like, it's like, that's cool, man. That's your job. That's not who you are, right? And so build those personal relationships, and then if it makes sense later, it makes sense. But yeah, big shouts out to Tactical Life, Ruger, USCCA, Primary Arms, Brownells, Crate Tactical, Walk the Talk America, Black Guns Matter, and Walker's GSM, GPS bags, and anybody, please charge it to my head, not my heart, that I might have missed in that. And these are all the individuals that have supported Train and Learn and supported me in other ventures. HRT, a special shout out to them for coming through with a little giveaway at the end. And man, and I think that everybody that I just named knows that I show it with a passion, I show it with a meaning, and I'm going to be authentically me. But that's all because of forgot. And then look, man, you got to remember too, there are some brands that are like, nah, I'm cool because we don't align, right? There are also some brands that I look at like, mm-mm. So it's all about having the right fit at the right time.
So what do you think? Where do you think we mess up at? Is the culture or whatever you want to call it. Like, where do you think we mess up at? You be like, I wish they wouldn't have done that, or ooh, they should have did this a different way. Cause we was talking, me and Mr. Double Tap, and I was like, man, sometimes I see stuff on YouTube or Instagram, I'm like, oh, they shouldn't have done that. Like the foolery just got it be at the all time high, and then sometimes they, put that together with that's how we all are. You know what I'm saying? That so like where we mess up at.
You know what, man? This is normally not a hard question for me. It's only become hard
I ain't think
recently.
no questions is hard for you,
No,
bro.
no, no. No, and I say the reason I say it's a little bit challenging for me is only because I've had a revelation, and my revelation is, I get it. I got the gray in the beard now, so I get the unk and the old guy, right? And I play around with it. I'm not really that dang on old, but I play around with it. I'm like, okay, I get it. I don't want to be the dude that looks at everything that some of the young boys do, like, y'all screwing it up. Well, that used to be my mentality. And then I just started to mature and look at it a little different. Like, you know what, man, there's going to be some people that gravitate toward that you can actually get into the space that, as professional as I am and as good as I think I am, probably would never come through my voice, because there'll be people that you will talk to that you can get through to that I just can't. My voice doesn't resonate with them, and vice versa, right? So we all have different people we can reach. And so I think I boiled it down to this. If I can just boil it down to this one thing, we cannot be the clowns with the guns when it comes to safety. So if we can at least teach safe gun handling and make sure we're protecting ourselves at all times, if we can just set that example, I have to let everybody breathe and be who they are and do what they do, because I can't, and nor do I care to. I can't regulate it. I don't want to try to regulate it. And as long as we're not being unsafe, and you can go reach 4 million people, 10 million people, 400 people that I couldn't reach, and we can get them at least into the space understanding what it is and what it's like in a friendly, non-aggressive way, and we can teach them how to be safe, then I gotta let that I gotta let that old mentality I had go. What I will say though is that we all have to be careful of not passing proper information and education around the gun in general when we are bringing people into the lifestyle. So if you are somebody that just does it out pure entertainment, and now they're entertained, and you drop them into this world and you leave them, well, that can be the difference from zigging and zagging, and now this person becoming a lawful gun owner on this side of the street and a felon on this side of the street, right? So I do think that we have to do a little bit better about imparting information and education. One thing that I said to someone, and I think they finally got it, was like, we have different ways of reaching people, but I'm a big fan of saying that, let's just say somebody's a professional, let's say they're an attorney, right? And so they're going to be able to dissect the law or talk about the law probably better than I could, right? Even though I think I do a pretty good job, if they're an attorney at law, probably better. So if I bring people in, okay, you got me, I got the training bug, I'm into shooting and training. Even though I mix legalities into a lot of my training, I'll be like, hey, well, now let's go over here and watch Heavy's channel because he's an attorney. And I want you just to follow the brother because he's going to give you a lot of information and game from the courtroom standing. That's not what I do every day. Oh, this person over here deals with constitutional awareness 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, constitutional news, because these things are ever moving. Like when we had all the pistol braces were going to be a felony, and then we had the bump stock thing happen. Like, hey, stay over here because this person's gonna keep you updated on the laws. So we have to do better at stop trying to be the one-stop shop for everybody. And if you're gonna bring somebody in, get them in, and then introduce them to the people that will keep them educated, informed, safe, and will continue to help them grow. So I do think we can do better at that. And sometimes people get offended when you say that because like, man, I got them followers, them my followers. Not brother, that just shows me you not in the game for the right reason. You just like, to me, it's supposed to be about information, education, and keeping people free. I can't enslave you into my world, but then convince you that you're free. I need to get you all the information that you need. So I would say that, but brother, that's a pipe dream. I don't think that we have reached the level of community love and understanding, and where we can foster that. So all I can do is use me and some of the people I'm blessed to have relationships with to say we be the example. Like Black Guns Matter is sponsoring Train to Learn. Ken Scott has been to Train to Learns and taught at several of them, never charged me a dime. Right? There have been other brothers. Harrison with Double Tap. He's a phenomenal marketer. That brother could actually do some teaching on some marketing. People out. He has been a big, huge, the biggest single instructor and supporter of the Greenwood project, bar none. He shows up constantly, willing to learn. So we also need to do better is stop complaining about the ones that don't do what we think they should do, and focus on the brothers that actually do want to align with each other. Like big shouts out to Trayvon Barber. He's a former instructor at Train Learn, about that, brought some game to us and gave us some information. You know, we have like Instructor Blue, and he's coming this year. Chris down from FTAC, and all these other individuals. And that's just pointing out some of the brothers. So focus on the people also that you already align with, because just because somebody's not doing something you necessarily don't feel or don't flow with, don't make them your enemy, man. It just means they got a different way of doing a thing. So find your people that are trying to do things, or at least trying to educate people, for they can be better, and rock with it, man. Stop taking.
Yeah. I say, people send me stuff on Instagram. It's like, what you think about this and all that? I say, hey, man, we all got a different way of entertaining and bringing, showing certain things. You just got to filter it out. Some of it just, entertainment, but, some of it's educational. So you just got to, whatever you scrolling, whatever you on that day, that's it's what it is. But,
It is what it is.
it's some of it's entertainment, some educational. But pay attention. I do the same thing. Well, pay attention to these guys. Well, watch this and that. They, they up on it. What do you say to people that say, "Hey, man, KD be gatekeeping, bro. Like he don't be putting me on." You get that? You get that a lot?
Man, yeah, I hear that. I don't pay that noise no attention. I have done too much, and I'm not going to defend it. I've done too much. What I am is a human, and I don't think people understand it. But you can ask anybody that has access to any resource, even your cousin that's a barber, and everybody always trying to get free haircuts, right? Anybody with a resource, your friend that work at the auto parts store, and everybody want to call and get a discount. Your homeboy that's the cop, and everybody always want their name ran to see if they got a warrant. Anybody with a resource or a skill set will always have people call them. Here's the problem: you try to answer every call and you try to do everything for everyone. And then you realize in the midst of trying to help all of them, you've lost yourself. You no longer have time to put into yourself. You no longer have time to invest in you. Take a deep breath. Take care of your family, because you're constantly trying to give. And one thing that I realized in the world in particular, in general, I'm sorry, is that the moment you could do for, let's take this one individual, right? You could do for them 30 favors in a row. Every time, 30 favors. They get to the 31st favor and you don't do it, then you gatekeeping, you don't rock with them, you ain't about the people, you ain't never loved them anyway, you ain't never had their back. So it doesn't matter. People will use you till they can't use you anymore, and then they're discarding of you are terms and words like gatekeeping, you don't rock with the people. I mean, I've heard it. Man, KD ain't for the black people. Will show me another black man that bought 40 acres of land for black people.
And called it
Show
what?
me
What's
one.
the name? What's the name of it?
No, they just show they're constant. One of the things about me is that I don't stand up and represent for black people.
No, I'm saying, what's the name of the property you
Oh,
bought?
Greenwood Project,
Yeah, they well,
right?
if
So
they
show
know
me that. Show
anything.
show me how many other brothers in the 2A space before I came along have put dozens and dozens and dozens of children on their platforms, and you can see the elevation of those kids. Show me how many other people have actually stepped in and kept the door open for you and gave you a Rolodex of information information. Show me how many other people have called individual when he saw him failing and then corrected them behind the scenes and never said it publicly, never made a video about them, but gave them game. Then go try to ask the people that I have literally given thousands of dollars into to start their own businesses. I don't owe you mother shit. And I bleeped out my own curse words. I have done
Right.
enough work. I have proved enough things. I have put my money where my mouth is. I got on the cover of Time magazine not to talk about Kevin, but to talk about that, this, right? So at a point, I just reached, and I reached this years ago. You know what, man? Y'all can't have access to me, bro. So you can feel the way you want to feel because what happens is, and that's one of the words I say to my man, the war gave to me years ago. He said, bro, you know what your problem is? You got too big of a heart and you're going to let people rip it out.
Mm.
You know, and we sitting at the table eating dinner, and he was like, "That's the game I'm gonna give you." And you know what happened? You try to do, you try to do, you try to open up, you try to be cool, you try to talk, you try to get game, you try to do this, and the moment something doesn't go somebody's way, the moment that you don't do what they think you should do, the moment that you don't answer the phone or return that phone call in a timely manner, the moment that you have to say no becomes the moment you are no longer useful, so you're useless, and then you're discardable, and now all the negativity comes out about you, right? So for me, it's anytime that you have that opinion, if anybody has that opinion about me, I'm not responsible for responding to that. I'm just not. What I would like for you to do though is lay your resume down in the privacy of your own home next to mine and see what you come up with. You're
Well,
right. And once you can do that, then come talk to me. And that's also why doing things like you trying to unify America. I'm an American and I love this country. I will call her out for her faults, but I will also say where she's good at. And I'm also not doing that just as an American. I do that as a black man to walk us into rooms where normally we weren't accepted. Our voices weren't heard. We didn't have a reason, but not just to separate us, but to get us aligned with people that have information, education, that aren't racist, that want to see you win, that want the gun community to expand. So also trying to be a bridge and a source of unification or the catalyst for unification in this country. So where we can actually bridge gaps, get along with our white brothers and sisters, our Hispanic brothers and sisters, everybody all across the country. So good minded people can come together, have their experiences, share their stories, and realize that together we move forward as a unit, as a stronger country, and make things happen. So if I keep constantly trying to pay attention to them, whoever them is, brother, I never get anywhere. So they can keep talking about me, brother. You just
so
gonna keep talking about me from behind while I'm steadily going forward, progressing. That's it.
so
Do your
do
thing,
you
fam.
do, do you think that the 2A is a good like flagship to bring those cultures together? Because I do, like I commend you when you jump on IG Live and you just start talking like you'll call whoever out. If it's some bull crap, it's bull crap. It can be
Yep.
black, white, Puerto Rican, Asian. It don't matter. It is what it is, and you always going, call it like it is. If it's bullshit, it's shit. If it ain't, it ain't. You know what I'm saying? So, do you think like the Second Amendment is like the bridge to help bring the cultures and the divide, like to bring it closer? Because it's always something, right? It's always like we get there and then it's something pop off and then now we split up again. You know what I'm saying?
I think the Second Amendment is the answer to many of America's problems. Because, and the reason I say that is the one thing that we need to be able to do is have a dialogue with each other. Like I need to be able to talk to you, brother, without feeling like that if our words, if our tones start getting too heavy, that I need to physically assault you, right? And then you think about that. The Second Amendment has always had that reputation floating around it because you I've been hearing this since I was a small kid. An armed society is a polite society, right? So if you think about that and you take that mentality, well, I can sit across from a man that I might have fought, 10 years ago before I got my attitude together. And I was like, well, I know that Kevin armed. He know this Kevin armed. So no matter what we talking about, we're gonna keep it at peace.
we
You know what I
got
mean?
we got to keep it
You know,
respectful, right?
we're gonna keep it respectful, and to have a conversation. So I think to bring respect about that'd be the first thing. That way we can actually hear each other. You know what I mean? We can actually hear what each other is saying. And we are truly America's last line of defense. And in certain ways, we're America's first line of defense because you don't have to worry about this country being invaded physically. Now, you go through technology and stuff like that. Yeah, we're plenty vulnerable. But physically, why? Because the Kevins and everybody else is running around with a dang on gun, right? And and then you have our military and things like that. But from a save America, bring America together standpoint, uh, if it comes down to good versus evil, then not everybody with a gun is a good person. Don't get me wrong, but let's just say most of them are lawful gun owners, people that understand what we're here to do. Then that's the wave of people that stand up against evil. So yeah, man. And then ranges are great. Like when you get the right, that's one thing I love, even about train to learn. Train to learn is a smorgasbord of people. Smorgasbord, right? Smoking cigars, laughing, shooting guns, learning about business techniques and everything together. It is a smorgasbord. When you go to, but when I first came in the industry, it wasn't like that, right? It was like a chocolate chip cookie with not a lot of chocolate chips in it. You can just look around the room and be like, oh, damn, okay, this is what this is, right? But now you fast forward and it's like, okay, it's not unusual to walk in a room and start seeing diversity now. It's everywhere, right? So I think it is the answer for it, man. Like I've never seen somebody um, walk into a range. Now I've seen people get dirty looks, but I've never seen anybody walk into a range with people that look different from them and they become, physically accosted or attacked. I've seen some dirty looks, but no. Long story short, I do believe that the Second Amendment community is very vital to healing a broken country, and I think that we can do it. And for people that are ignorant with guns, I tell people all the time, every ism has a gun. Every istanism has a gun, right? So you're not going to be able to avoid ignorance. You just can't. But you still keep your self control because you don't just represent you. You represent a lot of different people when you carry a gun. Just be cool, keep a cool head, man. Go about your day, and we'll be the fix eventually. That's what I believe, anyway.
Well, yeah, like when I go out, when I first started going out and shooting competitions, especially in my metro Detroit area, what you want to call it, it wasn't a lot of us out there shooting. So I try to bring the homies and the bros out, say, man, let's go out here and train, let's go do this, go shoot some competitions, so they can see us and know that, look, this ain't no, the whole, this ain't, we ain't minister society, right? This ain't
Right.
like that. We understand safety, we understand this. We just want to come out here and run and shoot. You know what I'm saying? Like we just want to get busy just like you get busy. And some of my coolest dudes now, man, don't look like me. You know what I'm saying? I met them out there at a 2A at a match, at a two gun match, and they coolest people. And I tell people all the time, like you come out to some of the matches with me, you can ask these guys anything. Like, don't be scared to ask. They might ask you, "Hey, you need some help with this, or you need that, or you didn't bring a extra mag. I got one." Like the two, like I don't know why they think like we're different than like the rest of the world. Like it's people in 2A, and then it's like everybody else. But we are everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know why they try to make it seem like we're different than the next person next to you just because we carry firearms and we like to carry fire, protect ourselves, compete, and do all that other good stuff. So
Absolutely.
I do 100% agree with you. Hey, what's a misconception, man, that people like Colin Noir? What's a misconception about Colin Noir that people don't know about? Because I hear I hear things about bro. I never met him. I seen him at an event. It was at Shot Show, and it was the release of I was down there with Prime Protection. It was a party. Y'all was there. I don't think it was up in a hotel. And
And then, so,
who?
whoa, whoa, whoa. You starting first of all, you starting that part all wrong. Now, yeah, granted, now Prime, I give Bridget Armand shots out. All right, but that was for Argos Bravo Oscar release. I was a host of that. Don't just say I was there. Like I
I'm
helped
sorry.
throw the
I'm
party.
sorry. Let's
No,
start
hey, you
over.
gotta be so disrespectful.
Hey, this is the Pop Culture Podcast. Let's start all over. Hey, you know what? I said I know I'm gonna mess this up. I know I'm gonna mess this up. Argo, that's my dog too. Cause I
Yeah,
reached out to him. I used to always text Argo like, hey man, what's your health? What's your mental health level like? Cause he used to always text me like, man, how you doing today? Whatever, whatever. And I ain't seen blood in a long time, but I was there for the Argo release of his rifle,
hmm
and Colin Noir came in the door, and I looked. I was like, oh, I thought you was 6 foot at least. And, and I seen him. I was like, oh, but I didn't get to meet him. But what's the misconception people don't really understand about Colin Noir, man?
Man, I would say that's been my dog for a minute, man. I would say that if I had to choose one that I don't think he would mind being out there, I would honestly say that he doesn't care about the people. I think that's the biggest misconception about him. I think he's done more than what people know, and I think people always want to see what they want to see out and about in public, You know what I mean? Like if I don't see it, it ain't happening. And I think what people need to realize is there's a lot of work that goes on that you don't see, and because of that, you form an opinion. And even when it comes to him, a lot of those opinions are just false misconceptions. He is an extremely supportive dude. Extreme. Might not be the way you want it. Might not be the way you like it. Might not be something you hear all the time. But he is about more than what people give him credit for. I'll leave it
Man, I mean, just the work he put in, man, just from creating the stuff he does, it's like, man, you can't help but watch what he do. You can hate him and love him at the same time, but I guarantee you're gonna copy some of the stuff he been putting out there and then doing, just because you see it. It's like, hey, he winning in that space. But like I said, I never met the dude. I seen, the interview which y'all did, and I was like, man, what's a misconception people don't really know about Colin Wire, or what they may think just because they see it on Instagram or YouTube, and come up with their own concept of how he is. So just want to clear the air with that a little bit. What do you think about what's going on with this? When you posted that on your Instagram about the suppress was it was it suppressor central
South
situation?
Central.
Yeah, what's up with
South
that?
Central.
So
So I'll
for
be
people
honest
that
with you.
don't
This
know
all broke
exactly
like
what's going on with that, I'm sorry. For people that don't know
I'm
exactly what's
aware
going
of
on
a
with that.
lot. So I got the privilege of being around for a while. So I talk to investigative reporters like like I even got cursed out by one of them because he's like, "How many you can call me? I had all the scoop." So I do get a lot of information, and I was out on the range on the land all weekend this weekend. So working and setting up a train learn and hosting other events. So I didn't have time to dig into it like I dig into things. What I will say is this: Silence Essential released a statement that said they were. Oh, sorry, I'm getting the battery running low on my PC notification. The Silencer Central released a statement saying that they did not stand in the way of silencers being removed off the NFA. All right. I'm sorry, and I'm not trying to be rude. I'm trying to get my charger brought to me from my PC.
No,
Uh,
hey, I've been there. Don't worry. No worries.
Charger from disk. Okay, let's see if that reaches before this thing cuts out. So they released an email in response to an AmmoLand article written by my homie John Crump, uh, to where they were found by lobbying. Their record was found in the lobbyist papers where they paid $50,000 to one, 5,000 to another, and they paid these lobbyists for the conservation of the NFA Tax Stamp Act. Right.
Right.
So when you conserve something, that means you want to keep it, and they spent money allegedly, according to the documents, unless they've been forged or not real or something like that. They spent money lobbying to keep suppressors on the NFA. What they were saying was, well, we want them for $0, so you don't have to pay a $200 tax stamp anymore. The problem with that is it still keeps them on NFA. You still have to do all the same process. Yeah, you get to save $200, but it's still a constitutional infringement to have to even go through the process. So that's pretty much, but their business model, this is the speculation, their business model with the way that they do it, like straight to your front door, will heavily suffer if suppressors come off the NFA, which is why they lobbied at a tune of $55,000 allegedly in order to stand in the way of the Hearing Protection Act and removing silencers off the NFA.
Mm. Yeah, I seen it, and then I seen John Patton had posted. I guess he posted that first about the 50,000, whatever that piece of paper was, and then you posted like the response that Solison Central posted. I'm just like, man, that I was like, wondering they backtracking, they mad that somebody dig down and got some information. They like, ooh, we might have messed up here. We might have did something. Mm. But that was just one of the things. Hello, did you freeze up? KD. Let's get back to it. It looked like KD might have froze up, bro. Hey, so look, um, it looked like KD froze up on me. His laptop might have went out. We can try to get him back here in a second. He might have. It looked like his thing went out. I'm gonna pause the show for a second and see if we can get him back on. Hold on 1 second. We got him back, y'all. He tried to play me and do the whole pause thing and say I'm here talking like blah 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 blah. The
Yeah,
Central
my bad.
Central Intelligence Agency took the suppressors away and all this stuff. So but yeah, man, like I said, I just wanted some clarification. I seen that on there and I was like, man, to the lame, you gotta for me, I'd be looking at stuff like, man, what is this really saying? So, for the layman's, for people like me, I'm glad you broke that down about how that went down with the suppressor thing, because I'm just looking at like, why are they on there in the first place? Like, if you can't, one, and correct me if I'm wrong. If you can't even get a firearm to even have one on there, what's the whole purpose? Like, if I can't even get a firearm to have a suppressor, I ain't just about to go get a suppressor first that don't have no firearm. So I don't even understand why they even own it in the first place. Why they
You,
make us
you
pay
know,
$200 to get something that if we don't even have a firearm for it to go on, what's the purpose of it?
just to infringe upon you. I mean, they put them on there to stop, criminals from back in the day and whatever, man. It's a whole historical lesson that goes into why they applied them to the NFA with SBRs and so forth and so on. But it doesn't make it any more dangerous. Can you show guns on here?
You can show, yeah, because it's pre-recorded.
Yeah, pre-recorded. So when you start thinking about it like this guy here, right? Uh, when you start thinking about this is no more concerning as far as it being a firearm than a full length 16-inch gun, right? This is a 12 and a half inch, does have a suppressor on it, on the front of it. I just put this new suppressor cover on here, see how much I like it. But this is no more dangerous than a 16-inch gun. And this guy up here is just going to help make sure that I conserve my hearing. And it wouldn't matter if I use that one or, sorry, I'm scooting around. I don't think these things make it any more dangerous than
He,
anything
he,
else. No, hold on.
he had to go grab some of his toys,
Just
everybody.
saying, this no, I'm just grabbing cans. Like I want to know
just
how
grabbing. I'm just
how
grabbing
these
cans.
how these things make any sense to say you're making something more dangerous. Like they don't. What are they doing? How are these things making anything dangerous? They just simply don't. So they shouldn't be on there anyway. It doesn't matter. I got a couple more, but I ain't gonna keep grabbing stuff out. But these are they're mufflers for your guns. They make shooting more enjoyable. That's all they are, right?
Shoot
They're not.
unsuppressed is uncivilized, I was told.
Yes, that is true. That is absolutely true. So these
um,
things are phenomenal. They're great. They make shooting more pleasurable. They are not a problem until the government uses them to infringe upon you. And it's crazy because in Europe you can just go up to the counter and buy one.
really?
But here,
Didn't know that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
It, and Mr. Double Tap was like, Harrison, he was like, man, one thing that he wants to change and a myth is like we don't know that we can, like he was saying black people don't know that we can either. I told him I had a guy ask me, hey man, we can actually rock a chest rig with a plate carrier. I was like, yeah, it's not illegal. And he said one guy in his class thought us having suppressors on in our rifles was illegal. And I was just, and he said that the miseducation of laws and stuff in our community is ridiculous. Like we don't know nothing. But yet
okay,
you come up
let me
there and
give
run
you
up
on
there and buy a
to make
firearm real quick and be like, okay, I want to do this, but we don't know. We don't know nothing. We don't dig into it or care to learn extra about what it is to carry a firearm, to have this, to have our rights, what we can get, and all that. I don't know what's the person. Look, he about to go in the toy chest, y'all, and get some more stuff out.
I'm just trying to make a point because you were making a point, so I want to make a point. All
I'm
right,
gl- I'm glad I made a point.
to your audience. Now, granted, there are some legalities that come with this, right? But I want you to watch this. Can you see this?
I can see that.
Okay, this looks like an AR-15, right? Because it
Mm,
is. Okay,
yep.
so for the black men watching this, the black people watching this that are like, we can't have plate carriers or suppressors. Okay, so what happens the first time when I click this thing, the safety selector? What happens the first time?
You said what happens the first time
Yeah, it goes from safe to what?
to not safe.
Right. So now it's a simple fire. Every time I pull the trigger, the gun
Right.
goes off.
Semi. Yeah.
Okay. So
It's
everybody's
hot.
used to seeing that, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now it's in third position, which means this is a machine gun.
You got the right. You got the.
This is a machine gun. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm black. And I'm able to put it on camera with no fear. You can own things. It's about understanding. Here is one of the problems with us. We want all the rights and refuse the education. And that is a problem. Like they used to say, look, people, now my elders will be appreciating certain things I say. But I used to ask people this in class all the time. If you want to hide something from black people, where do you put it?
In the book.
And that's why you don't know that you can own stuff like this. That's why.
In the book. Yep.
Put it in the book. You keep them uneducated. You keep them scared. That way, the people keep saying. I mean, man, I've ran into black men that thought it was illegal for black men to own guns. Period. And if one of my white homies wasn't there to witness it, he would have never believed me. He was sitting there. We were in a cigar bar. Matter of fact, it was Claytonwood Pivotal Defense, and we were there with Prime Protection STL. And he came through. He was like, "Hey, I want to, let's go have a cigar." I was like, "Cool." So he was like, "We're gonna go to Ferguson." He was like, "Where?" Because to him, Ferguson is this place. I'm like, man, we going to Ferguson. We're gonna go to a nice cigar bar. We went there. Cigar bar is nice. Neighborhood is beautiful, right? But the news will have you thinking all kind of crazy stuff. Went in there, had a cigar, and as we are having the cigars, we started talking about guns, and a brother sitting behind us, about 6'2", mouthful of gold, dreadlocks, and he just leaned over like, "Hey man, y'all know it's illegal for y'all to have guns, right?" I said, "Why you say that?" He's like, "Because y'all black." I said, "Oh no, like no, man." I say, man, you got a criminal record. He's like, no, a couple of traffic tickets. I ain't never got in no trouble for real. I was like, all right, cool. Well, it's not illegal for you to own a gun either, right? He's like, swear. I was like, bro, come on over, man. So, but we have to be willing to get the education and the information. So sometimes we want all the rights and we want to say we can do all the things. And because our cousin and them said it at the barbecue, that's what the gospel is. But it's not.
Yeah, that's true. Misinformation in our community is real. I work sometimes up at my little neighborhood gun store, and it's not in the neighborhood, but it's like the V line. Like the homies jump on that freeway and get there and ASAP. So when they come in there and they start asking questions or whatever, I try to make it a point to correct them, educate them. Tell them look up this, check that, follow these people. It's always y'all y'all, and I was like, man, look at these now. We were out here doing it because um they just don't think that, like you said, they think that it's against the law or we can have this or y'all doing that. Like it's crazy how it's a continuous thing. I thought we would be further along by now with this because it's more of us out here doing certain things, but it's still like we still back in, like we still back in the shadows in the dark in the closet, and we don't know nothing. So I
I
don't
mean,
know, like
who do you think people watch more? The 25-year-old girl that's on the internet trying to educate other young women how to be smart, classy, carry themselves with pride, respectable, or the same 20 or the girl that's just as attractive that's 25, showing her body, twerking, promoting her OnlyFans account. Which one of them getting the most views?
the one that's got the OnlyFans account
You know what I'm
for
saying?
sure.
So sometimes when we try to put the real out for people to better them, if it's not the sexy way that they're used to absorbing all kind of content and things, then they normally stray away from it. And that's why I go tell people like that is your it's one thing whatever you're doing with entertainment in your life, but when you start talking about your freedom and you only want to be entertained in order to get it, hey, at a certain point, I'm cool with you being entertained. There's another point where if you're not educated, you're gonna wind up being a felon, right? Like there are so many brothers that don't understand. No, man, you cannot take the Draco, put a stock on it, and put a vertical foregrip. You can't do that. Hold on, man. You mean to tell me I can't put this $20 piece of plastic on the front of this gun? You can. You can do anything you want to do. However, it's gonna be some consequences if you get caught. They don't know why because
Well,
they're
yeah,
educated.
around in my area, it was the whole they was getting knocked because they were improperly transporting firearms from the store to the crib. And they were taking CPL classes. It was it was crazy how these little, I call them microwave CPL classes, they weren't educating. So it was a lot of guys getting pent up because they were just, they was getting hit with concealed weapons charges and stuff like that. And they were just going literally from the gun store to the crib. And they were just wasn't transporting it right. But yeah, I can definitely see what you're saying. Hey, I got a question for you. It's, if somebody made a story of your life, who would you want to play it? Denzel, Idris Elba, or Mike Epps? He's like, look, I want to do a KD movie. Who am I gonna
Uh,
get? Idris Elba, Denzel, or Mike Epps?
I mean, if I had to choose between those three, brother, I mean, don't get me wrong. I just gotta go with the OG, man. I gotta go with Denzel. Like,
Hey,
that's
did you hear
Denzel.
Denzel?
Man. They say no to Denzel.
Hey, Denzel said he's gonna retire and be a preacher, bro. You hear that?
Oh, he gonna retire and become a preacher?
He said, I guess when it's all said and done, bro, when it's all said and done, he want to be a preacher. Like if you watch some of his stuff, he's heavy into the Bible, into the preaching and stuff like that. That's I seen a couple little skits and that's what people were saying, like when it's all said and done, he want to be a preacher, have his own church. I said, man, he gonna be a mega church the first day. The first day.
First day, day one. Day one, shutting everything down in town. Hey
Can
man,
you
good for him.
imagine Denzel and there being like training day preaching the word? I don't know if they're gonna be scared or happy, man.
Hey,
My
good.
man, my man. Hey, but Katie, I ain't gonna hold you longer, bro. Man, I appreciate you jumping on, man. I hope you had fun. I hope it was cool. Like I said, I was trying to like, hey, I got KD coming on. I had to like look up some questions, get some information. I didn't want to just be like, what you think about this gun, KD? So I try not to be, talk about, gun stuff. Like I want to learn about learn about the person, everything you got going, because like you said, you got a lot of stuff going on. Your ecosystem is it's a lot. You got training, you a dad, you a husband, uncle, father. It's all that going on, and then you got this other part to you. So it's a lot, man. But like I said, I appreciate what you're doing for the culture, man, and I'm watching, paying attention, learning. Um, you know, trying to do the same things you do with the community, helping people out, man. Like I said, I really appreciate you. And I heard somebody say, I'm not trying to get you flowers, I'm trying to get you diamonds, because diamonds don't die, right? Somebody said, because lady was like, flowers die. I don't want to be considered, giving my flowers, giving my diamonds. So on my show, on the Pop Culture Podcast, bro, I'm giving you a diamond, brother. Kudos to you.
I appreciate that, brother. I would say thank you for your time as well. Um, I appreciate all the kind words. And look, it's no small feat to do any kind of community work. I don't care what it is. So I hope you take time out to give yourself a pat on the back. I'll give it to you right now. So thank you for what you do for however many people you're reaching for their families. Because every time you grab that kid by the back of his head and tell him to get back out there and try, man, that's something that we all as young men yearn for, right? So to be stepping in a place where somebody else stepped out is a big deal. So I hope you're giving yourself those congratulations, and you're a good representative of the culture, man. You are. I watch your shooting videos. Like, you're a good representation of it. So be thankful for yourself for that as well. And I hope that your audience will hear my heart in my words. And please don't read my face. I just got a bad face. I don't, I don't know what to say about it. I do. But it's when somebody asked me before, like, man, I know you ain't always serious, because we crack jokes all the time, but why, when certain conversations with guns come up, do you get serious? Say, because brother, freedom is not a laughing matter. And when you're trying to literally take a group of people who just got their civil rights in the '60s and start teaching them about, these laws were designed for your black butt, right? You do realize that, like, factually designed for you. So I can't get in front of you and just be like, let's do a mag dump, because there are people that are still trying to dump your black ass in jail, right? Over what other people have as freedom sends you to prison if you don't understand it correctly and understand the history behind it. So sometimes I will get passionate about things. I don't like foolishness, and I will accept the OG attitude when it comes to certain things. But outside of that, I like to have a good time, man. You come over, follow me on the platforms and all that. Come talk some cigar talk with me. A lot of times I go live. I got a cigar, man. We'll have a conversation about cigars. I am getting me a '87 brew. I'm mad at Kendrick, man. I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave the podcast. I got beef, and Kendrick lucky I can't rap because if I could, I would put out a diss track on him right now. I
on,
would.
on
Hey
Kendrick
man,
Lamar.
I would have to go because I've been wanting, man. You know how you got like everybody got like them few things in their life they want, bro. When I tell you, I want a 1987 Buick Regal Grand National. I've been,
GXR. What is it?
that's been
GX.
the car I've been chasing. I've been chasing that car, and I'm like, I'm gonna get it right as soon as I buy the crib. I do need to comp a new daily driver. So I'm in, got 4 years, but I was like, I'm bringing that '87 Buick car, but I've been chasing that car. I've been wanting that car for 20 years now, and finally I started seeing them come down in price, man. So I seen a real nice one, like nice. That thing had I think like 16,000 original on it. Everything's still original. I mean, the rallies on it, whole thing. Dude wanted like I think he wanted like 39 for it. He just wanted to come up off of it. I'm like, see, they're coming down in price. They're coming down in price. What Kendrick do? Drop the
He
index.
but you got to
Man,
get
you
the
know the
right
price
one,
of these
man.
cars, man. Them
You got to
cars
make sure you got the right one.
quadrupled in value overnight, man.
Oh,
Kendrick,
for
you lucky
sure.
I can't rap, bro. I put out a diss track.
My homeboy
Uh,
got one. He got a GX. Yeah, he got one. I meant to go. I wanted to go grab it out the garage and do a video like, hey, Detroit boys, we been had these. This ain't nothing new, my homie. This ain't nothing new, Kendrick. We got these deep over here. Hey,
hey,
I was told to ask you this question, and we're gonna end it with this. I was told to ask you a question. So if this strikes something, it wasn't me. It was your homie. What did he say? Where is that? Where is that? Where is that? He said, "Oh no, this ain't." He said, "Why is the regular gun guy the only dude to hold a range day at the property?
say that again.
Why is the only person to hold a range day at your property was the regular gun guy? Why is
Well,
that?"
the range day hasn't been held yet, and it's because I like what the brother doing. Period. But his range day is going to be at the Greenwood project. I've seen that brother run a safe firing line. I've seen him handle himself very well, very professional. And what he's doing is for a good cause. It's about community building. What's the Greenwood project about?
Community.
So
Yeah.
there it is. So that's why. Yeah, but I'm not the biggest architect and I didn't build that to be a range day. Ain't nobody finna just be coming out there every few months, dumping thousands of shells on the ground. We got to pick that up. Then I got kids running out there playing football and kickball. Like it's not built for that. Different ranges are built for different things. You wouldn't do a range day at the indoor range, I'm with you.
No.
Or
Well.
one with 7 bays, right? Because every range is not built for everything. So, nah, and that's going to be the way it stands. Greenwood, as far as the gun part, is built for small events and professional training. So, professional trainers. So here's what I would say to people. Not that I owe anybody an explanation, but here's what I would say. Every range is built for something different. Different people have different things, and some ranges are built to. I've been to some ranges across this country that dream of it. They can handle it, right? Because it's just for chef's kiss, just nice places. But for me, Greenwood is a place where the people that show up there are there for. I'm not saying we won't do small. We do small events all the time, but the main stake of it is professional training. So you know that everybody there is there under the guise of a professional. You don't have to worry about getting flagged with a gun. You don't have to worry about people doing things that you would consider unsafe and feeling uncomfortable. Because what I'm not going to do is have people that are doing things that are uncomfortable and unsafe with firearms, and I got 35 kids on the other side of the hill. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'm not then being responsible to them. So, yeah, that's just not what we necessarily do there. It's not meant for that. It's not built for that. But professional firearm classes all day long. So I would ask people that go to all these damn range days and I never see them in professional class. How come they don't do that?
They
Right.
don't
So
want.
hey, if you can ask questions, let's ask that question. How come I don't never see you in a professional class? How come I don't never see you truly doing professional development? So there are plenty of places around the country that are built and meant to host range days. I know that because I've been to a lot of them. Greenwood is just one of those places that our primary focus is going to be doing what we do, how we do it. And respectfully, I will say this to anybody: don't question who I let in my house. I don't ask you who let in yours.
I'm gonna cut this and send it to Double Tap. I'm like, hey man, you asked me to ask this, so I'm gonna ask you.
Yeah, it's like
this.
you know what I'm saying. It's we not now even and I'll say this because it kind of ties in it together. So if you take Double Tap, right, he doesn't do range days, but he does have a gun club, right? So they kind of naturally have to turn into like a range day ish component because when you do a gun club, people want to shoot, and so you got a lot of people want to shoot and stuff like that. But the brother runs such a professional environment that it never gets a chance to get chaotic. He is he said something to his class I ain't never heard said before. I was like, I might steal that. He was like, hey, even before they started, he was like, your safe ain't my safe. We gonna do my safe. His standards, his rules, the way he looks at it being safety. I'm like, okay, so when you start seeing brothers perform and act and hold things like that, hey man, it's hard. It's hard not to say okay because look at the way he handling that. So I know I can leave 60 people over there with him, and they all gonna follow the rules and structure and organization. So um,
Well,
yeah,
I can say this, brother. I asked him one question. Well, I asked him. We talking, we kicking it. But he said he owe a lot to you. Like he said, man, you just come up there and y'all can just sit down there. I think it was something he was on a class or something, and then you popped up, and it was like 3 hours later, y'all was still talking. And he was like, man, so he like I said, he kudos to you, man, because he is like you a big impact on his life and how he's training and what he want to do and want to be. His evolution in growing in the culture. So I definitely can tell because he was like I said he just we talked about you for like last 15-20 minutes of the show. So
no, I
um,
appreciate that. I appreciate that love. Double Tap's a good brother, man. And I would do the same thing for anybody that I see trying because you know what? I've had people do it for me. You get what I'm saying? So if I see somebody out there trying, and even that day he's speaking about, yeah, I was out at the property and doing something else. So I knew he was over there. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna watch him in his element. I just went over for a minute because one thing about it is, you know how you can go to certain ranges and like the staff or the RSOs like be over your shoulder and then like you get irritated, right? So I don't want to make people feel like that. I just went over and peeped for a second, and he got done, and I was like, all right, well, you want, let's chop it up for a minute. We just sat down and we just chopped it up, and it went from guns to life to just other things in the world. And that's I'm glad in a way he said it, even though he didn't have to, because I don't think people realize like I really want to see everybody win. I truly want to see everybody win. And you know what, man? If I could have a cigar with a brother and sit down at the range for a few hours after class over with, birds chirping, wind feeling good, and we just chopping it up and we talking, we ain't got to talk about nothing about guns, man. We can start talking about raising kids or stresses that men have on their hearts. People don't listen, understand us. We expect it to carry the weight of the world, never have a pressure valve release. And let's chop it up about it. So that's why I don't care what people think about me because I know what happens behind the scenes. He just brought it to the forefront. I would have never done that.
yeah, that's also he said, man, it's a lot of stuff y'all don't know KD do, man. He just don't talk about. And I was like, I can believe you. I said the way I just watch how he talk and you know I watching some of his videos and I can tell like yeah, it's a lot of stuff that go on behind the scenes that people don't know about, and he probably don't even care about showing because he just doing out the kindness of his heart. It is what it is. Um,
Just want you to win, man. Just want you to win. I want everybody to win, brother. I want everybody to win. That's it.
all right, hold on for one sec, KD. All right, everybody. Look, that was the end of the show with Kevin Dixie. You know what? Let me bring like KD. Let me
Hmm?
say this. Where can they find you? Have the people that don't know who you are, or what I'm saying? Like, what's your social media tags and all that? Where because I know you're on Instagram. I know you got your website and all that stuff. So just let the people know where they can find you at, follow you at.
Okay, yeah. The website is nootherchoice.com. No Other Choice is the name of my firearms training business. There's me, and I have a few instructors around the country. We would love to have you in a class. Please go to nootherchoice.com/training. You can see all that. There's also tons of merchandise over there. So from swag to lights to red dots to optics for your rifle to slings to accessories and triggers and all those things. You can have nootherchoice.com for that. If you want to find us on social media, It is the Real NOC, NOC for No Other Choice. The Real NOC on all your platforms. Instagram is the one that I'm most active on. However, we are starting to put out YouTube videos now. So please go check out the YouTube channel. It's the same thing over there. Facebook, we're going to become more active. We have that standing back up. But please reach out, talk to us, DM us. But jump your butt in the training class too, and if nothing else, head over to the website and do a little shopping and help a small business out. Try to pour back into the community.
There you have it from the man himself. So look, man, like I said, go follow him, man. Good dude, doing a lot of good. Has been doing a ton of educating for years. So he got a plethora of stuff that you go in there and look at, take a look at, follow, educate, all that good stuff. That's it from us today, man. Like I said, please hit that like and subscribe button at the bottom somewhere. Share with your homies, share with your grandma, share with your aunties, share with your uncles. We need all the love. We need all the support. So that's it for me. Gang recognize gang. We recognize you, so please recognize us. And I'm out. Peace.